Welcome back to another episode of my trading vlog, where most of the views come from returning subscribers. If that's you, please hit the like button. If not, consider subscribing. We're going to go over AMC, GameStop, SPY, Playboy, the big things, the dollar maybe. We're just going right away. We'll go over the day trades for the week and where I'm at there. I'm going to start with GameStop. I had a comment yesterday like, hey, Cap, keep following GameStop. So here we go. I took a look at the chart and I said, you know what I need to do? I really need to just clean this up. It's looking really, really messy. And so that's what I did. I went through and it was kind of an agonizing process, but I went through and I actually recounted this entire motive wave heading down. And when I did that, I decided that what I had put as wave 2 up here, it's definitely better expressed as a horizontal triangle, which is typical of wave B. Wave 2 rarely forms a triangle. And so to see that, and then to have the price break out and form a motive wave, this tells me that really we were in minute waves A and B. I was right about that at the higher degree. But then the sub-mini wet waves I was using to try to express this motive trend down was too small. And so I actually bumped it up to the mini wet degree. And then it all started to make sense. You can see I've got mini wet waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shown, where wave 2 through here is sharp. Let me just zoom in on that. The alternating 2 and 4 form of sharp and flat is pretty important. And it's really, really a great indicator. Give you a good idea what's going on. This is a sharp correction through here. It looks a little funny. It almost looks like a motive wave, really. It's kind of a curious thing. If we have to, we can also consider it a flat, but really I like to think of it as a sharp. We have the RSI reaching overbought several times down here, and this forms a divergence probably at a higher degree between these lows and these lows. So we might want to think of this as 4 and 5 and maybe put, see, this is the problem with the analysis, is it was just like so confusing because of how much strength the downtrend had. So let's bump it up to the 4-hour time frame. You can see that there is a divergence right here. So that my tendency would be to say waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and end 1 down here. But if I do that, then I don't really have much of a move here for wave 2 before wave 3 starts, right? And so it was just really difficult to say what might actually be going on through there. Maybe on the 15-minute time frame, there's a little better, more data. We get more insight on the smaller time frames. Here we definitely can say that this doesn't look like a motive wave anymore. It's because we have this big sideways grind where no progress is made. And we can see that there's a push up initially. This grind, which would be wave B. So this is what that would look like. Let me just do this. This would be wave A right here. And this is of that 2 wave, right? So we'll call this 1, and you can see the bullish divergence here on the RSI. The RSI here making a higher high and the price making a lower low. That is a divergence, and it's bullish. And then wave B is sideways, more or less, making no progress. And then wave C pushes up, and this is a more characteristic move for a sharp, a measured move up. Of course, when I back out into the 1-hour time frame, that chart drawing is not going to make nearly as much sense, right? At any rate, this is how I solved that problem, is by understanding that this was actually a sharp correction. And it's pretty obvious when you look at the RSI that we only reached overbought once. In a corrective phase, at the corrective trend, you typically only reach one of the extremes once, and then you turn around. At the end of a motive wave, you're going to see that extreme reached multiple times, like back here at the end of wave 1. So we had motive wave 1, 2, and then we started extending into 3, and you're going to notice that I have 2 downtrends shown here, and this is because one of these downtrends, the smaller red dashed line, this is an expression of that 3rd wave extension, and it's possible that extension is not over. It's possible, right? In this 3rd wave extension, we're going to have a possible another wave extension, right? We could be looking at waves 1, A, B, and C, and then we start wave 3, which might extend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we count 4, and then we wrap up the initial count for 1, 2, and yeah, this could be 3, 4, and 5. So we could really still be in wave 3, which is wild, which is so wild. And I say that because we're still in this downtrend, right? And it looks like we may even have a 2nd wave extension in there that's broken. You can use these trend line studies to help understand what wave degree you're in, or in what extension you're currently at in the pattern. personally, this looks like we could have had a wave 3 and then a wave 5 of 3 extension. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put 3 down here. This is really the best way to put it. Wave 4 here should be sharp. I believe wave 2 in here was flat. And so we'll be looking for a sharp correction higher and then come down for 5, which may or may not truncate. This will complete our ABC count here, and we won't see a new low below 1577. If there is a new low below 1577, then this Elliott wave count needs to turn bearish, and this needs to become, instead of A, wave 1, instead of B, wave 2, and C needs to become wave 3. And the reason for that is because corrective waves don't make progress. This is an overall downtrend, and that major support or resistance at 1577 is a significant low. If price passes below there, it's then making progress to the downside, therefore inherently not corrective, rather motive. And then the wave count needs to reflect that. Motive being counted in numbers, corrective being counted in letters. And so this is my update to the GameStop analysis. This is just wicked. This is a nasty downtrend. And as long as the waves continue to extend, it's incredibly difficult to try to forecast any sort of end to it. I mean, this really looks like it could be its own little motive wave right here, you know? So it could be a 5th wave extension of a 3rd wave extension. Whoa. Yeah, price fractaling, that's how it works. And the RSI through here is just getting thrashed. We've only hit overbought once, and that was probably at the top of the 2 wave. We'll probably see that reached again at the top of the 4 wave. And right now we're seeing that RSI turn down with the price at about 50, which is where it tends to do so if we're in a continued trend, which we are. Wild. Absolutely wild. Let's go check on AMC next. AMC, of course, is finding a big downtrend. This line here, this is actually what I didn't explain this in yesterday's video, but I probably should have. Wave 1 tends to be similar to wave 5. Waves 1 and 5 are kind of like twins. Think of it that way. And when you have a big drop like this from, okay, 695, whatever, down to 145, this is a huge price range. Obviously, if you take the actual linear range of that initial push down and apply it to the top of wave 4 and subtract it, you're going to get a negative number, which isn't a real thing in the price, right? And so what we need to do is we can use the percentages to make a comparison. I'm going to try to, okay, this breaks the scale, but you can see that on the dialog box there, that middle number, this downtrend was 76.8%. And when I hover here on this line, you can see we're down 76.58%. So we're in a similar position to wave 1 where we lost about 80% of the price, which is huge. That's wild too. Just insane. Anyway, it looks like we are finding some support down here at last. This is just crazy because I think this is this an all-time low? Yeah, this is an all-time low. Wow, just a brutal thing. It must be geez, I don't want to talk about it too much. There's a lot of emotions down here. I know that people are really starting to like feel the feel the burn, I guess. It's hard to forecast these kinds of things because I know people are losing money, like a lot of money over it. It's like makes me feel a little bad, but you know, the analysis is the analysis, and this is just what I do. Is I just do the price analysis, and I'm not trading it, so I can be unbiased. If I were holding shares, then I would have a lot stronger feelings about it, and that would cloud my judgment. So I don't trade AMC or GameStop, and it helps me provide a better forecast. Let's go to SPY next. SPY today is in a mood. It's tanking. Let's zoom into the minute time frame here, and we'll talk about what my day trades were. I had the opportunity to break even, and then I had the opportunity to make money, and you know what? I actually took a loss. So today was kind of frustrating for me. I entered a put early at 648, and then I stopped out rather quickly at 653, which initially seemed like a good idea as price rallied ahead of Powell's speech. Powell started talking, prices tanked, and here I could have broken even on the second put that I entered here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these as I talk about them. Price then bounced way up, and guess what? I bailed. I should have held. The RSI was hitting overbought, but it was only the first touch, right? I should have held. And of course, boom, price is falling down. Now, this isn't so bad because I am holding a short SPY ETF called. So there's an ETF called SPXU. It's essentially SPY, but upside down. And so when I buy a call on SPXU, if SPY drops, the value of the call increases. And so I am catching I am catching value there as SPY is dumping, but overall I lost money on the day trades this week. Let's go ahead and let's pull that up. So this is the chart I'm using, the Excel spreadsheet I'm using to track my trades. It was a busy week this week, it really was. And I think just about all of these are day trades minus the top 3. When I highlight these cells, you can see the sum is negative $32. That's what I'm down for the week, is $32. Last week I was down $10. This week I'm down $32. So I've got 2 weeks of losses in a row here, which is pretty brutal. I think the lesson for me to learn here is that I'm setting my stops too tightly. You can see that the gains here are generally larger than the losses with one exception. And that's really good. That's what I'm trying to focus on, is using those stops to mitigate those losses. But if my stops are too tight, then I'll end up actually losing money because I just didn't tolerate enough volatility. Here's the thing about stops. If you don't know what a stop limit order is, essentially you can enter a sell or a buy order and say, hey, when price reaches this level, then buy or sell at this price. And so what I do is, you can see that I might enter a contract that costs like $134. And I don't want to be losing too much money, so I might set a stop that's like $7 or $8, right? And when I do that, if price reaches that level, then, there you go. I get stopped out 125, I incur my fees, and I have a small loss. However, like, for instance, that was today. If I had held that same contract, I would be up right now, which is, very dumb. So there's obviously the opportunity to lose out on potential gains. Ideally, I would just have enough cash that I could reopen a second trade, but I don't have that right now. And so that's why I'm it's very difficult to make money with these specific contracts at their costs with the amount of cash that I have. And so it's going to be kind of a struggle. But that is okay. I am not dismayed. I have been working on this for a long time, and using these stops this week was a great exercise in discipline for me. I only got greedy once or twice this week, which isn't so bad, and my losses were generally mitigated. I still have a longer-term contract that's going to catch the value in the SPY dump, which I'm forecasting for next week. We're getting the downside I was expecting in SPY. I just need to stay focused and keep moving, and that's the hardest thing. How to embrace failure is like day trading 101. It's insane, and experienced day traders will tell you that. There's a few YouTube channels I watch. Maybe I should do a video about what channels I watch. But, it's just part of the process. I might be down $10 this week, $30 this week. Next week I could make couple $100, it just depends. There is an element of luck here, and generally, yes, you're probably gonna make losses. I've been doing really well, honestly. I'm very, very, very close, I think, to being a successful day trader. Just learning the lessons and taking the beatings is difficult, but it's going to pay off for me. I just need to stick with it. I'm doing a good job here. Okay, SPY is now rebounding here. It looks like Powell maybe said something positive. I don't know. Maybe I should take a minute and close my SPXU call, but I don't know. I think I'm break even on that contract. I'm just going to check really quick. Okay. All right, let's look at SPY. Here we go. We've got a bounce coming in. It looks like Powell probably said something positive. I don't know. This is all about Powell. You can see how when he starts talking, price just starts to go crazy. This is typical of SPY. Not always the most logical thing. Turning on the line chart, we're going to zoom in a little bit here. Go through the general breakdown. I forecasted, identified this leading diagonal triangle through here. We had our reactionary trend, wave B, come through here, and it ended. We started pushing down for waves A, B, and C, which we've had, and we found ourselves another reactionary trend, A, B, and C, for that big bounce, which could easily be wave 4. And we're coming down now for wave 5. We've had an initial impulse, which was very, very, very strong. Honestly, that's a pretty big drop from 445 down to about 436. If that's the height of wave 1, wave 3 could really be a dump. It really could, or this could be the entirety of that 5th wave, and we actually get a bounce through here. The MACD on this time frame is starting to look a little bearish. We were definitely coming up a little bit through that corrective trend. The RSI is starting to set some bullish divergences, so we need to be aware of that. But if that divergence breaks, then we're looking for a wave extension to the downside. Today's price action is going to be a big deal. It looks like we're heading near the weekly low towards 433.93. We could get there today, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Zooming into the minute time frame, I'll show you what this dump looks like. If this was the top of wave 4, we are looking for 5 waves heading lower. And I think we've got 1, 2, massive third wave extension, 4, and 5. This could compose the 5th wave at the minor degree, but I'm suspecting that it's really just the first impulse of the next 5 wave. And we're now going through a corrective trend, which I'll show you here. This could easily be some sort of expanding pattern, which is one of the most annoying patterns ever, because price will set higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, it's done several times over the last 48 hours, and traders will just get wrecked through here. And yeah, it happens. You can see there's the price pushed above this level and then got thrown right back down. And now that it's exceeded that again, it's popping right back up into the pattern. It's just wild. These sorts of corrections are very frustrating. I probably shouldn't have tried to trade this, but this could easily just be impulse 1. And this actually, yeah, at this wave degree, at the minute degree. And this is probably 2 or B. Here's the thing. Wave 2 doesn't generally set a... doesn't make a triangle, and that's what I'm showing here is a reverse triangle, right? So this is more likely A, B, and C, and what we're looking at is actually impulse 1. This was a big 1, and now we're seeing wave 2 come in, which is bullish, and it looks pretty sharp, which is totally fine. We don't typically see a triangle in wave 2, which means wave 2 tends to be sharp. And so it could really pop all the way back up to like the intraday high. As long as it doesn't completely retrace all of that downward progress, as long as it doesn't get above whatever this high was, then we can maintain that bearish count. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, and that's how I want to count it. Let's go look at SP or at Dixie really quick. Dollar strength today, making a big surge. Of course, I've been bullish on the dollar, and I've adjusted this chart a little bit. I've moved the length of this initial impulse just a bit, and what that does is it raises the price target. This to me is more appropriate because I had a really hard time trying to figure out how to get this corrective wave into you know, look, it looks like 3 waves, right? 1, 2, and 3. That's not what impulse looks like. That's what correction looks like. This is really confusing, and I'm not going to quite label this correctly, but it's possible that we actually had wave B set a new high. I hate wave B. Wave B can do anything it wants. There it is. So we have impulse 1 here, and then 2, and now we're seeing wave 3 come in. Wouldn't surprise me if I take this initial impulse and I measure it and put the extension down, that we'll actually see that 161.8, or that might be the 100 level right there at 3. And I haven't done this yet, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. But I take that height, I pull it down. Okay, yeah, it's going to be the extension. Here we go. Bam, slammed right into it, 104.237. That's exactly where I've dropped that 3. There's a bearish divergence right here marking the top of that 3 wave. And so we're probably now going through a wave 4. And wave 4 is probably going to be, let's see here. Was wave 2 flat? I guess so. It might be sharp, but was that it? Was that wave 4? This little dump, was that it? Possible, very possible. Gonna have to watch for a while. Maybe a triangle here makes the most sense. That'll give price time to move sideways. We'll digest this move, Jackson Hole, and then we'll see continuation either next week or reversal as we hit these targets. The first target's at 104.607. Now I've raised it, and the next target's at 104.899, and that target hasn't moved. And this comes from that leading diagonal triangle that we started in July, ending in August, early August. So far, so good. We see the dollar climbing. There you go. Going to go, I think, into the next thing, which is, well, we'll look at PLBY. I'm holding PLBY long. It looks like we're coming in, and we're reaching that wave 5. Was it a target? Not really a target, but, you know, that same tendency where waves 1 and wave 5 tend to be twins. Took the height of wave 1, apply it to the top of wave 4, and guess what? Hey, here we are, reaching oversold in probably what's wave 5. What's curious is that we've got this 3-wave form through here, which is particularly curious to me. It's telling me that I should be looking for a triangle through here. I don't see it. Not yet, at least. We're gonna need more time, but we are respecting these levels pretty well. We've broken this downtrend, which was related to wave 3 at the minute degree. Right here, this guy. We go ahead and make this solid to show that's an internal trend line. It's no longer external. And actually, when I do that, it's like, oh wait, does that look good? That looks pretty good, right? Do I want to call that a falling wedge? Not really, but it is there. This is an indication that each push down is getting smaller, which we can interpret as momentum dying to the downside. And of course, following that was a corrective wave. It wasn't a reversal though. You gotta be careful with your chart pattern analysis. I don't know if I would really want to be calling this a falling wedge or an anti-diagonal triangle in that wave position, especially because that first impulse down didn't look like three waves. It's definitely 5, which means motive. So if anything, it'd be a leading diagonal triangle, but it's not in the right wave position for that either. So really, I just wouldn't even look at it that way. Rather, I would just take that trend line and understand that downtrend in that context. That downtrend broke. We came up. We tested the downtrend related to minor wave 3, it looks like, right here. Broke it for 4, and now we're coming down for 5. This is, of course, the downtrend of C at the higher degree right here. And if we can break this, that'd be fantastic. And the reason why it's C, well, it might need to be a motive count, because this is an all-time low for the stock, really. I started reaccumulating at around 150, and I sold out around 190. I missed most of this downtrend, which I'm really happy about. I've readjusted my position a couple of times. I'm just going to continue to hold here. Overall, I think we're going to see a reversal and a bounce. It's going to take a while, though. It's going to take a minute, because it sounds like the company's kind of a hot mess, and it's not recovering as fast as we'd like it to. Looking at the momentum indicators, the MACD on the hourly time frame, looks like we could be finally seeing an end of that bearish momentum. If we can get that blue line across above the yellow line, that's going to be a bullish hint, an indicator, right? We want to see it a little higher, though, because we're still on the negative side of this. Is it an oscillator? I don't know if the MACD is really an oscillator, but it moves like the oscillator does. But it's really not an oscillator. Anyway, it looks like we could finally see a bullish bounce here in a reactionary trend. A lot of volume down here. Brutal. Reaching oversold. And then we got a bullish divergence here. Let's see. Price set at similar low and a higher low. We could call that a bullish divergence. We should be looking for a pop here in the near short-term future. Okay, let's go to FUBO next. Kind of a long video today, I know, but it is the end of the week. And besides, I started with AMC and GameStop, and maybe people will actually watch the video because of that. Like, yesterday I put a video up, and it's like, I had 200 plus views, 6 subscribers on the AMC video, and then like 30 views on the SPY video. It's like, I get it, people want to see what they want to see, but it'd be nice if everyone watched, like, you know, the rest of the analysis too. Like, this is a lot of work. I'm keeping up with a lot of stuff. It takes a lot of time too, especially with a video this long, 22 minutes. I gotta get this thing wrapped up. So if it's possible that we're moving through a bear flag through here, which of course isn't the best, I'm playing a short put right now at the $2 strike, meaning that as long as the price is above $2, that put is set to expire worthless for the buyer, which is good, as I am the seller. We've had a downward breakout, but price has rebounded back into the pattern. This could be a reversal. Hopefully, and I say hopefully because there's like definitely like hints in here that this is pretty bearish. We'll see what's up. The put doesn't expire for a couple of weeks, and theta, that is to say, the value of the contract that's lost due to the past time, is still in my favor above $2. So I'm going to continue to hold FUBO. I think we're starting to see some bullish divergences seen through here, maybe on a larger time frame. Possibly not. We'll go into the daily time frame. This would be a good spot to see that. Yeah, it's just flat. We're just trading flat, just trading sideways. It's possible that we're in wave 4, we get wave 5 pushing down. We are right above the top of the initial impulse, which is 1 or A. So if we get below 2 or 2, if we close on the daily time frame below 2 or 2, then it's like, okay, all bullish bets are off the table. We're going down. I would like to think that this is the end of an ABC wave. Of course, if I do that and I take the extension tool here, it's not super optimistic. You can see that the target's 150. So sometimes we get a 50% extension if it's bullish, right? So 199. And I think on the intraday charts we got there, right there. So it's possible that we're done, especially with the strength of that wave A. It was just so strong. We're seeing that momentum starting to shift now. The MACD is starting to just spin around neutral. I'm really trying to find something bullish here. Implied volatility is dropping, which is good because it was, wait, is that good? Let's see here. Implied volatility dropping through the corrective trend. We're gonna want to see implied volatility flip, actually, and it's not yet, so holding my breath there still. RSI, right at 50. We'll see what FUBO wants to do. It needs more time. Anyway, that's all I've got for today's video. If you could like, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, you know, whatever. Do you. Have a good weekend. Take a break. Take it easy. Happy trading.